Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
All right.
Anthony Smith, back from, where were you? Arkansas?
Mena, Arkansas.
I saw Dean Thomas was interviewing you. And he said, oh, I'm going on vacation. And he said, oh, great, where are you going? And you went, Arkansas. And Dean Thomas starts laughing his head off, thinking you were going to say Hawaii, the
Caribbean. That's what he said. He was like, I thought you were going to say.
Redneck, old son of a bitch goes to Arkansas on his vacation.
Oh, it was amazing. I had the time of my life. I rode probably 400 miles of trails, I would say. We went and found this awesome waterfall and just drank cold beers and rode trails, and it was a blast. It was a blast.
Does your wife get him? I mean, it does sound like fun, if I'm honest. It sounds great. And I want to do more outdoorsy stuff. So I think I might jump on the bandwagon. I don't think Southern California has many places to ride them though. And there certainly ain't no goddamn waterfalls either. There is waterfalls. And we've hiked to them because I've Googled them.
Really?
We walked when we first moved here. Yeah. Maybe once upon a time they were a waterfall. In Southern California, when in the middle of a drought, you get there, we're like, where's the goddamn waterfall? There's just nothing.
It's just trickling. There was I searched for 3.
Water.
I found 3 on my GPS. I have like this big screen in my Razor, and we found 3 and got to them, and there was nothing there. And then the next day, we took like a hour drive on the highway and eventually found one that was amazing.
Does your wife get involved with the Razor Ring?
Yeah, she has her own.
Oh, she does?
So yeah, I have me, and then the 3 older kids are with me. So it's 2 in the back, and then my oldest rides in the front seat. And then the baby rides with my wife.
Yeah. I mean,
it was, we got in some.
That's very sexist of you, Anthony.
Why?
So you carry the kids, you carry the precious cargo because women drivers and all that, right? That's what I'm assuming. You're like,
well, she takes the most important, the most fragile one because it's probably the safest. Because
she'll go the slowest.
Yeah, and she has the patience. She has the patience to fight with her a little bit. We did get in some shit though on one of the trails. It was really funny. So there's this one spot where there's a gate, and most of the group was 13 like side by sides like UTV things in the group, and most of them fit through the gate, but mine's too wide, and there's a couple others that were too wide. And it's this big opening where 3 trails come to the middle, and it's kind of with a congregating spot where people come through, you park, and it's a good spot to stop, eat lunch, drink beers. You just chit-chat with people as they're coming by.
Say a few prayers because it's the congregation.
Yeah. Well, definitely in Arkansas on the Bible Belt for sure. So there's this one spot where you have to climb over this big hill, and it's kind of sketchy to get around the gate if you don't fit through it. So we kind of all parked and we're hanging out. This guy and this girl came through, and they couldn't fit through the gate. Well, we were kind of parked in the way that they had to go around. So the chick starts flipping us off. She's screaming and hollering at us that we're all parked in the way. We need to get the fuck out of her way. So one of the other guys in the group says, hey, if you just ask, we'll move. And so she starts going off, and then she decides that they're going to go the hard way. Long story short, they end up going off the drop off and almost roll. And they're like teetering on just 2 tires, like about to flip. So we run over, and she's freaking out. The guy won't even speak because he's so terrified, because if he rolls, he's going to roll 80 feet down this ravine. Wow. So he won't even speak. And so we all push him up back on his tires, and like we'll have to walk him down this hill so he doesn't flip over. And she's flipping us off as she drives down the hill. Well, one of their friends was on a 4-wheeler behind them. He runs up like right behind him. They take off, and he goes, I'm so sorry about your friend, or I'm so sorry about my friend. She's just kind of a hothead. And he pauses and goes, are you Anthony Smith? And I said, yeah, I am. And then as he's like mobbing away, he goes, I love the podcast. Tell Bisping what's up.
So shouts out to Arkansas rednecks.
Yeah, I hope he's watching this. But yeah, so that lady was pissed.
What is the top speed you get to on those things doing that, Anthony? I know I've asked you before, but I've got a segue here.
It depends on where you are. But if we're flying through trails like those, like probably 40 at the max, and that's really getting sketchy.
That probably feels like you're going ridiculous.
Yeah. But we drive 70, 80 down the highway if we're getting from one trail to the next.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked that is because this weekend, and I don't know too much about the Isle of Man TT races. Obviously, growing up in the UK, I know it's a yearly thing, and some of my friends are really into it. But I never rode motorcycles growing up. But this weekend, I just happened to stumble across a news feature, and so I was listening about it. So the Isle of Man TT races happens every year on the Isle of Man. It's a little island in between England and Ireland, and it's known as the most deadly motorcycle race on earth. Okay. And it happens every year. And every year people die. I think since its inception in like 1905 or 7, there's been like 260 people died. Last year, 6 people died alone, including a father and a son died at the same time, and they were in like a sidecar. You know what I mean?
No.
It's just insane. So the more I heard about that, the more fascinated with it I became. So I was reading all kinds of articles. As I say, I'm not a motorcycle fan. Can't pretend to be, but something about that and the fact that these people every year still continue to do it. They don't get paid a lot of money. In fact, if anything, they lose money. A lot of them are working full-time jobs. They fly out there. It's just purely for the love of the sport, the passion, the thrill, the adrenaline, and for setting records. They go around this course. It's 37 miles long. It's an actual 2-lane street across the island. They close it down so no other traffic, obviously, so nothing's coming towards you. They go on average, something like 134 miles an hour is the average speed. Jesus. They get over 200 miles an hour on the motorcycles. And yeah, every year people die.
How many laps do they have to do?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I didn't really retain that part of the article. Right. I was more focused on the people dying. It's just wild. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
that's insane.
If I listen, what we do in mixed martial arts, yeah, dangerous sport. Fortunately, in the UFC, we can say there's never been a death. Mm-hmm. I'm fingers crossed there never will be. But every single time this event happens, it takes people's lives. Yeah. What would your wife say if you said, I mean,
oh no.
I mean, they fly around at just incredible speeds. There's your mate going off in the razor.
Oh my gosh.
They don't even do it for a lot of money. It's just for the glory. But you're literally got a very good chance of dying. As I said, 6 people last year died.
And they just keep going so fast. No, I'm saying, like, why do they have to make it so hard?
Because they want to win. They want to win, and to win, you got to take chances. You know, when you're going that fast, you're going around a bend at 160, 70, 80, 200 miles an hour. Yeah. You hit a lamppost. What they do is they put paddings on the lamppost.
Yeah, that's doing a whole lot, I'm sure.
That's going to help. Yeah. You face plant a lamppost at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what's on it. A little
bit of foam on it, you're good. You're going to bounce off.
I just feel like if you're an organizer, well, don't you think you might want to make the track easier next time? Or
I think that's part of the appeal.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's part of the appeal. I mean, we'd have to get a motorcyclist on here, but like it just made me think, because you know people talk about fighting, and of course fighting is dangerous, and sadly in boxing people die every year. Mixed martial arts, fortunately, isn't the same. But there's a sport or an event where every single year people die doing it. It's like if we were going into the UFC and you all weigh in and you're having that meeting where Dana comes along and he's like, okay, bonuses, $50,000, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Now, last event we did, 6 people died. Would you still get into that octagon knowing there is a statistical chance that you are one of the people that are going to die?
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't like it.
Well, when you think of it, like that, though. Isn't that just insane? Just what? And you're not even getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
some of these people aren't even breaking even, but they're.
When I was younger, for sure. When I was younger, for sure. Now I'm like, I don't know. This podcasting thing's pretty fun.
It is. It flies by. Yeah, it started. I was reading yesterday. It started in 1905 or something like that. The UK government set a speed limit of 20 miles an hour. So they went out to the Isle of Man because it's not like run by the UK government. They have their own parliament there. So and obviously no speed limits. So they just. I think that's kind of how it evolved from there.
But fly.
and they just fly around. The grand prize is around £18,000, says Harrington. So about $20,000, and you're going to risk your life. As I say, it's not for the money. It's just for the title, the prestige, and that is, I don't know, man. I mean, a father and a son lost their lives. I mean, I respect them to be so dedicated to their craft, but to put their lives on the line like that.
Well, when I was like 18 and 19, for a little while, I was working at working on power plants, and like as an iron worker, and like in those bids, when these big companies come in and bid these jobs, there is like a set number of deaths that they allot for during this, these certain builds. And there was 2 people that died on the job site while I was working there, and like it totally.
How did they die?
Well, one of them was setting grating, which is like it's like the steel flooring as the structure is going up, because at that point it just looks like a stick structure. There's nothing on it yet. So you're just walking these 6-inch beams, and then you set this grate. The crane flies it in, and then you set the steel grating down. Then you can walk on it, and it creates the floors. He took a piece out to move it around because it's kind of like a puzzle, and just forgot that he took that piece out, stepped back, and then fell off the structure. Wasn't tied off at all. Fell like 160 feet. And then another guy was just working in a lift, and a guy dropped a welding lead, and it swung down, hit him in the face. And he was kind of a vegetable for a long time, and then ended up passing.
Jeez.
But that alone messed with me. And I was like, yeah, I can't work here anymore. It's way too dangerous. It was crazy.
I used that as an excuse once to get into a nightclub when I was beat up. I was really? I swear to God. I said I was a steel erector and I had a fall. I swear to God. I got jumped off a bunch of people. Some guys, whatever. I had a bar stool in my face and stuff like that. And a couple of days later, I was black and blue. And I went to this nightclub and they were like, you can't come in. And I said, no, I haven't been fighting. I was working as a steel erector and I had a fall and banged my head a few times. And they let me in. It worked. But rest in peace to you 2 friends. Oh, dear.
Well, I didn't know those guys, but... No, it was crazy.
What's the most dangerous job you've done?
Probably that one.
Yeah.
Probably that one. Yeah. It was it's like huge construction like that, building power plants. It's like a whole nother world down there. It's just, there's so much crazy shit going on. And it's just one small mistake. It could be catastrophic,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was sketchy.
Recently, I partnered with a company called Legacy Precious Metals. Now, I know a lot of people are going through tough times right now, but if you are fortunate enough to where you have a few dollars left over every month to think about investing, then maybe investing in gold and silver through Legacy Precious Metals might be for you. Now, the stock market, if you follow that stuff, it's all over the place. In fact, it's plummeting right now. But precious metals, they've always held their value or even increased. So, of course, that's something that we're all interested in. Does it have to be a lot of money? It can just be a little bit, because it all adds up over time. Now, if you click the link, there is a guide there. It'll tell you all about investing in gold and silver, or you can give them a call and they will answer all of your questions at 866-933-0317. We're about to do a catastrophic mistake right now.
What are we doing?
Michael Harrington, show yourself. By the way, we've got Beneil Dariush joining us in 20 minutes. Of course, Dariush going up against Charles Oliveria on the next pay-per-view in Vancouver, Canada. Harrington, you have a shirt on. That's an improvement. You got a cap on. You're looking good. You're looking healthy. How the bloody hell are you?
I'm doing great. Had a nice family outing yesterday. Couldn't be more recharged and ready to start this week.
Beautiful. Memorial Day yesterday as well. You guys have a nice break. I know, Anthony, you were away with the family. Harrington, you were with the Gas Digital get along.
Yeah. We had it was like a nice barbecue. Like I said, Aura got to meet a lot of people, get passed around. I got to dunk on little kids in a swimming pool. It was great.
Fantastic.
Never get the invite.
No.
You were in Arkansas.
I still didn't get an invite. They didn't know that.
Even if I was invited, I wouldn't come. Just so you know. I didn't go to Anthony's fight. I'm not going to come to New York for bloody, for shitty cheeseburgers and hot dogs. I mean, what kind of meat are we talking, Harrington?
It was a great barbecue spread. There was pulled pork, there was brisket, there was wings, there was 2 style ribs, St. Louis and Carolina. It was great.
Can I just say the ribs are overrated? I had ribs the other night. You know what I mean? And they're big and they look juicy, but there's not much meat on them a lot of the time.
No. I'm taking or leaving
I'm a
with
big rib guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I knew Anthony was going to give me a change of opinion.
Well, I love ribs, but I don't mind food that you got to work for though. You do got to eat a whole shit ton of them. Like I love crawfish, but you got to eat like 450 of them to get full. It's a lot of work. Not a lot of meat in crawfish.
There's a place called, what's it called? Joe's Crab Shack here. I've been a few times, you know, and they bring you the crab and you get it's a lot of work, man.
It is.
And you've got to know what you're doing. And I'm dedicating far too much time. I'm probably burning more calories than what I'm going to ingest on the crab meat by getting it out. And when you do get it out, you get a tiny little piece. Like, that's great. Now we're going to go back to work. Going to go back to mining the crab. You know what I mean? Can you just give it to me on a plate? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Harrington, big news in mixed martial arts. What have we got? Give us a story. Something to wrap our teeth around.
Probably the coolest thing I saw over the weekend was Cain Velasquez just getting some work in, right? You know, he had his hearing set the other day. He's not going to have an actual trial date until the end of the summer, so he's spending his time wisely. And AKA posted this video of him working pads with Beneil Dariush. I'm sorry, with
that is
Bilal
cool.
Muhammad.
It's in no way, shape, or form the biggest story in mixed martial arts, though, and it's nice. It's great. I'm happy to see Cain back. He's got his little ankle on his tag on his ankle, pardon me. And it's lovely to see him working out with Beneil Dariush and back with his family, more importantly.
Yeah. No, I was happy to see, since he's been out, you haven't really seen much of him. So it was cool to see a video of him just out and about doing his thing. It's still such a sad situation though. Cause like
it is
good. There's a chance that that's not going to be his future. And that sucks.
But it's not the biggest story in mixed martial arts. It's lovely. It's heartwarming. It's great. We know he's been out for a while. It's fantastic. But Harrington, that is not the big. I said specifically, and before all you lot started the comment, Bisping so mean to Harrington. We're having a laugh. What's the biggest story in mixed martial arts this weekend?
Conor McGregor at Monaco.
That does seem to be making headlines. To be fair, yeah. He's been enjoying it, pulled up in his yacht. He's there. He's dancing around. He's dancing with Kylie Minogue. Do Americans know who Kylie Minogue is?
No, I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Kylie Minogue is?
No, it just looks like a hot blonde.
I should be. No, what's it, babe? The locomotion. Do the locomotion with me.
That's her?
That's her. And she had that song, "Nah, I just can't get you." She's a bloody pop star, bro.
Oh, well, not pop, not star enough.
She's a big pop star. Anyway, they're dancing away. He's enjoying himself. Hamilton with the finger wag.
I was going to say, Anthony and I are about the same age. Kylie Minogue is right in that wheelhouse. Her hits were like 2000, 2001 when we were in like middle school. She was at like all the dances. Kylie Minogue was pretty popular.
Yeah, I wasn't going.
Kylie Minogue was big in the 80s.
I was already at country parties at keggers. I was not at middle school.
Kylie Minogue was big in the 80s.
I'm looking her up right now. Her first hit was in 1987.
Yeah, what was that called?
I wasn't even born then.
Yeah, the locomotion. I must admit, Kylie Minogue was the first girl I remember having a crush on. I remember the first ever time and thinking, what is this sensation? Do you know what I mean? What's going on?
What is this beautiful woman?
I like the look of this woman. Can we rewind that and watch this again? But anyway, so McGregor's out there. He's partying. Everyone, I just saw this morning on my feed, everyone's going. Fans, like the Daily Mirror and the Daily Telegraph, all these crappy tabloids, just looking for a story. They're like, fans are concerned. It's like, bro, he's got 6 months until he fights.
He's fine.
He's fine. A lot can change in 6 months. I might have been horrendously hungover 2 days ago. Now I'm feeling on top of the world. Imagine the difference you can make in 6 months. Listen, the man broke his leg. He's been out of action for a while. The Ultimate Fighter debuts tonight. By all accounts, he's back in the testing pool because he made an announcement, said the fight will be going down sometime soon. An announcement will be made. I would say that's going to happen in December. Him versus Michael Chandler will be a great fight. And with 6 months, as I said, a lot can change.
I find myself, I'm just going to have a moment of honest here, Michael.
Do it.
I find myself envious of Conor sometimes. And that never happens. Like I don't ever really get jealous or find myself like, I guess envy is a good word. But like you see him in this amazing Lamborghini yacht, just pulling up to random places. He just looks like he's having the absolute time of his life, and he looks like he has no cares in the world. I think that's what it is. Like,
yeah,
he just maybe that's bullshit, and he's got his own problems and insecurities. But seemingly from the outside,
I don't think he has. I don't think he has. He lives in his world, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. By the way, he's God.
Like, I don't know that I'd be dancing around, because I don't dance anywhere. It's not really my thing. But I don't know that I don't know that I'd have the ability to do some of this shit. Even if I did have a couple $100 million and was doing whatever the fuck I wanted, my wife's not going to be letting me go to some crazy race and dancing in clubs. And
no,
there's no way. No. She keeps me grounded. Either. I'm not that goddamn cool.
But that's very honest of you that you'd say that you find yourself being a little bit envious. Yeah. But
I just want what he has. I want what he has,
for sure. But we always want more. We always want more as human beings. We always want more money. We always want the bigger house. We always want the bigger car. The whatever it is in life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's not. It's easy to say. It's easy to sit here and say that. But like, I saw a video. Because he was pulling up at his dock. And by the way, I'm not knocking on McGregor. He's got a Lamborghini yacht. I don't even have a bloody dinghy. Do you know what I'm saying? So I ain't talking shit. But like, if just to expand on what you said there, because people always want more. Like, if you were Conor, like we're looking there and looking at Conor, and I'm trying to find the right words, pulled up in with his yacht. Next to his yacht was some gigantic yachts.
Oh, a way bigger one.
That made his look stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what? So Conor's sitting there going, I want one of those yachts. That's not a dig at Conor. I'm just saying, to your perspective there.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? You always want more or whatever. You got to learn to be content and happy with the life that you have. You know what I'm saying? I want more.
That's amazing you brought that up, because I seen a video. This might have been just like right after he had that Lamborghini yacht, like right after he posted it and kind of like revealed it. And like the yacht was pulling out, and it was someone from another yacht, and I like zoomed in on Conor's, like going down, and then it like zoomed out, and there was a yacht like 8 times the size of Conor's right next to it, and it was Conor like standing on his, looking at the other one. Like,
hey,
it was like there's like wealth, and then there's like real wealth. And it was like next to it. So maybe he is doing the same shit that I do. Like, he's looking at other people. Like I
probably not. Probably not. He's very happy. And again, for the record, we don't have Lamborghini yachts, so I don't.
My boat's a 95.
I'd like a Lamborghini yacht, though. I'm not going to lie.
I'd probably want to start with a Lamborghini, just a regular one. It doesn't
keep me up at night. Would you drive a Lamborghini? I don't think I can do it.
No, I have a friend that has a Ferrari. It's like the super fast edition, and I drove it one time, and it was like, it's pretty cool, and it's cool to say that I drove it, but it's not real comfortable.
My mate Daz, a good friend, used to be my Thai boxing coach when I was competing. He's like a bit of a supercar guy, and he had a Lamborghini Aventador.
They look awesome.
Oh yeah, they sound awesome and all the rest of it. But I remember I was in Manchester when I was still fighting, and we were in there. It was a sunny day. The top was off. We're in a Lamborghini, right, in Manchester. You don't see many.
Yeah.
And he's driving down the street, and there's some little guy walking down with a can of beer in his hand. And he goes, "You fucking dickheads!" You know what I mean? That's what regular people think. Because I used to have a fast car, a Maserati, and it sounded.
I remember your Maserati. Yeah.
And it was embarrassing. It was obnoxious. You know, you go down for a pint of milk from Ralph's. It's like, no, I just need something low key. Anyway, we are a mixed martial arts podcast, and we do have Beneil Dariush joining us in just a few minutes. Let's have a look at the notes. It's not the biggest, most action-packed week, but Volkanovski says that the possibility for him to fight. Sorry, Volkanovski says the best possible fight for him would be against a prime McGregor at 145. I don't know if you've seen this, talking to McGregor. They've been going back and forth all morning, talking a little bit of shit. Volkanovski came out and said, anyway, anywhere, anytime. McGregor goes, hold on a minute. Well, why are you saying 155? And then also saying, that's my expression, by the way, which I don't think it was. But he says the UFC pound for pound number one, this is McGregor. Yeah, right. Needs weighing scales and specific divisions to compete against me. So who's really who and what's what? The BMF title, the baddest jackasses in the sauna title, little bums, little one division, never champion bums, nothing bad about yous. Hey, I'd like to see that fight, Volkanovski and McGregor.
I would too. The problem with Conor's, he just doesn't. He obviously he's been injured, but in order to like really build a fight like that, you feel like you'd have to get him in there more consistently. You know, it's just, and honestly, who gives a shit? If the UFC booked that right now, I'd pay to watch it for sure.
Well, you know, if McGregor beats Chandler, and it's a big if,
yeah,
he's getting a title fight.
Probably.
For sure.
Probably. Sure. Like if you're Conor though, that just seems like you're kind of setting yourself up because Islam's Islam's just a tough stylistic matchup for a guy like Islam. Like if he was, I don't know. If I was Conor, I'm not, and I would never think like Conor, but I'm not sure that I would take that path.
Well, you know what the path's going to be. It's got Leon Edwards.
See, that's the path you take if you're Conor. And I'm not saying Conor beats Leon.
No, but stylistically, it's a more favorable matchup.
It is. I mean, he just struggled with Habib. He struggled with a little bit of wrestling with Poirier. He struggled with even Mendez before Mendez gassed. Listen, I'm a terrible wrestler, but you know, I'm just not sure that the path is to come back, battle back from an injury, fight a guy like Chandler. Maybe you get a win over him, and then you just throw yourself right back into like a Habib Jr. That's a tough path for his style.
Habib Jr., I'm sure he loves getting reference to that. But you're right. I do agree. You know, we were talking about Cali Minogue a minute ago, and I said that, you know, it was like the first time I remember being physically attracted to someone of the opposite sex. Who was the first celebrity crush that you had, Anthony Smith? Because I'm sure some of the Americans would love to know, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know who Kylie Minogue is, but you're going to give us, who was it from Law and Order?
Yeah, it was Olivia Benson from Law and Order. I remember.
Is that your first one?
That was not my first one. My first one was Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey. Yeah.
Mariah Carey. Does your wife have one?
My wife have one? Rebecca, do you have one? She's in the background spending more money. She's ordering a few bits we need. Celebrity crush, Rebecca. Like someone that's famous. Do you know, she likes people, and this doesn't bode well for me. She likes people that aren't good looking. That's what she says. She doesn't like handsome features. But give me someone famous that you find kind of, as quote unquote, the people say, hot. Come on.
She's not giving you.
Don't say Israel Adesanya. I always tease her because she says Izzy's her favorite fighter. But come on, babe. Don't just give. Anthony, this is how you know this is bullshit. Oh, I'm thinking.
Oh, I know who my wife says right away. And I'm going to fight him when I see him.
Who's would yours be now, Anthony?
Mine now?
I mean, I'm thinking as well. I'd probably go Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street. Not in that shitty bloody Barbie movie. That looks terrible. Although she probably looks similar in that, to be fair.
Probably. I don't know. Machine Gun Kelly really had
Megan Fox.
Yeah, it really had me staring at Megan Fox again.
Machine Gun Kelly had me staring at Megan Fox.
Because she just came out of, I think she was everyone's celebrity crush for a long time after the Transformers, and then she kind of just went off the grid, and then Machine Gun Kelly drug her back into popularity. She
went off the grid and on the grid. Okay. Well, anyway, it just made me think about that.
My wife loves
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, I might fight him.
You look a bit like Mark Wahlberg from a distance.
Maybe that's
a taller version. It is
fucking way cooler.
Give me a Mark Wahlberg impression. Or what does he say?
I don't even know. I don't even know how Mark Wahlberg talks. I'm just sick of hearing about Marky Mark in the house all the time. Anytime there he is. There's my future husband. I'm like,
he has. He's a shareholder in the UFC.
I quit.
You work for Mark Wahlberg.
I quit. Not anymore. I quit.
You work for Mark Wahlberg. Anyway, just do a quick non-MMA story before Beneil joins us. Well, we're not going to have time for this one. 700 feet, a plane's landing in South Korea. Some guy is uncomfortable on the plane. What does he do? Opens the plane door. Do we have a video, Harrington or Brian? Because I hope we do. How much would you shit your pants if some weirdo, for some reason, I mean, granted, they were landing. They weren't 40,000 feet in the air. But he just decides to open the goddamn door.
700 to 40,000. What's the difference?
39,300 feet.
Yeah, but if everything above 200 feet is certain depth. Oh my fucking God.
Look at that.
Oh no. How terrifying.
That is terrifying. I mean, why would he do that? Apparently 7 people had to go to hospital with their breathing injuries.
Oh,
so he
sure.
must not have been able to breathe or something like that. But Harrington, can you shed some light? Can you give us some facts and some details, please?
Yeah, like I said, you nailed it. Those people were hospitalized. The man has been arrested, and he's facing up to 10 years in jail for the action.
Oh, what about these kids too? This is random. I'm not trying to hijack the story. You see these kids that sprayed a bunch of like real strong fart spray in a high school, and it ended
I do believe Harrington's got that in the notes as well. It's all highbrow stuff. Harrington, no, go ahead. No, tell us about it. Because I didn't hear about it. I was just looking at notes. I'm looking for MMA stories and all the rest of it. And I've got stories about fart spray. Okay. To be fair, I'm saying, who's the celebrity crush you had? So I'm not exactly going highbrow today either. Do you know what I mean? But what have we got with the bloody the fart spray?
Yeah, so it's kind of along the same lines. So these kids, it was high school seniors. They were pulling a prank as part of their, seniors do. It's part of a ritual in America here. And they just let out a fart spray that was so bad it got into the ventilation. The school had to be closed down for 3 days so they could get all the spray out. And I think like 6 or 7 kids were hospitalized because it was so bad. So now those 2 high school students are now also facing 10 years in jail, possibly.
How did it get so bad that you get hospitalized? How do you get hospitalized?
How are you going to go to prison for that?
10 years. I mean, listen, I'll be honest. That's a funny prank.
Yeah,
especially for high schoolers, to stick some fart spray into the ventilation system. That's hilarious.
Did you ever do a prank at school?
Nah. I can't think of any pranks. Not really. What about you?
No, we never did. I never did any there during like senior prom. Someone greased up 2 pigs with like baby oil all over them and let them into the prom dance, and no one could catch them because they were covered in like baby oil.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. I've got to see a picture of Anthony Smith at the prom.
Oh, I probably have one.
Did you have like a frilly shirt?
No, it's just like a nice tux.
We didn't do proms and stuff like that in England. I think they do now, but no, certainly not in my time. No proms, no school dances. And even when there was a school disco, they were lame. Boys on one side, girls on the other, all leaning on the wall.
I never really went.
That's about it.
I never went. I went to one prom, I think, but then all the other ones they had started threatening that they were going to do breathalyzers at the door.
No,
I was like, no, I'm not going to that. That's a test I can't pass.
10 years for some kids. I'm assuming that's not going to happen because they always say that whenever you see a crime or whatever, the maximum penalty is this, that, and the other. There's no way anyone's getting any jail time for a bunch of kids letting off a bit of fart spray. What should happen for a bit of jail time, though, is that very, very disgustingly sad story which happened recently. Harrington, it's about the family and the young child.
Yeah, so
an 11-year-old kid shot dead by the police. Did you see this, Anthony? It's bloody awful.
So a boy and his mom were at home. They lived together. Her ex showed up, I guess, assuming drunk, 3:00 in the morning, banging on the windows, trying to get inside the house. The mom gave the boy the phone and said to call a family member or grandma or something like that. The boy did that, but he also called the police to say, there's some guy who's like trying to break into the house. He ran out the back door. I guess his mom was in the driveway talking to the police. He ran out to be with his mom, and as he was running up, the police shot him.
Why?
Cops got scared.
gosh.
11. He's alive. He survived, right? He's going to be okay.
He did survive. He went to the hospital. He has been released. So yeah, he didn't die from it.
Thank
but
God.
horrifying still to be 11.
11 years old. Calls the cops because there's some bloody asshole at the door or whoever it was, the stepfather, whatever, and then gets shot. I mean, I understand the police are on high alert and they think that someone's going to be armed, but I mean, come on. I mean, you got to have a level of training where you can identify a grown adult that's a possible threat from an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm obviously a big supporter of the police, but there's a lot of mess ups that happen, and that like shit like that can't happen. You can't.
No,
like people got to go to jail for that. Like you can't.
Well, they should. I mean, you're talking about someone doing 10 fucking years for letting off a bit of fart spray.
Right.
You know, a cop there certainly needs to be straight away suspended, an investigation, look at the body cam footage, and then probably go to jail for being too bloody trigger happy.
For sure. And I get that there's a lot of police officers out there. I got a lot of police officer friends. I do a lot of training with police officers. I get it. A lot of them are afraid. Some of it's a culture thing, though. Like, I think back in the day, there were more cops that were kind of more street guys, like that were a little grimier and a little, like different. But nowadays it's a lot of just, I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole. I'll piss a lot of people off. But anyways, there's just a lot of people that aren't used to like a lot of altercations and confrontation, and they're afraid. It's that simple. There's a lot of really scared people out there working as police. Well,
you hit the nail on the head there, because they're a little bit more, shall we say, a little bit more squeaky clean, less street. They're not as used to confrontation. So when they're faced with this kind of situation, they're on high alert. You know what I mean? They're scared. I don't think any police officer goes, I say any police officer, I can't speak for everyone, but I think I would say police officers aren't going out there with the intention to shoot 11-year-old boys. So it's a very, very sad, awful, awful error, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
But practices need to change, because 11-year-olds should not be getting shot off the police, regardless.
No.
Anyway, we need to talk about some goddamn mixed martial arts. Harrington, you're fired on the
There's
nose.
not a lot.
He's got about 30 fucking. I mean, we've got government officials in India draining entire dams. We've got police in Mississippi. We've got the TT races. We've got all kinds of stuff. We ain't got no MMA.
The guy draining the dam for his phone reminded me of you.
What do you mean?
We were in Vegas one time, and I remember you left your phone like at the front desk or something and couldn't find it. You look like you would have been willing to drain an entire dam to find that goddamn phone.
Well, just to give people a little bit of context on what we're referring to here, where is it in the notes? Where is it, Harrington? What number?
I believe it's the last story. Yeah,
here it is. No, number 7. A government official in India has been suspended for draining an entire dam, over 21 liters of water, so that he could retrieve his phone that had fallen in, that he claimed contained sensitive government data. India has, on average, 163 million people in the population without access to drinking water. While the official claims that the water drain was not safe for drinking, it could have irrigated at least 1,500 acres of farmland. Did I see Beneil Dariush jump on then?
No, sir.
No. Oh, I thought I saw something as I was reading the link. But yeah, hey, listen, when that phone goes, it's the worst feeling in the world.
It is.
When you temporarily can't find your phone for 5 seconds, it's the panic. You know what I mean? I don't think I'd fucking put an entire nation's drinking water at jeopardy, though. Jeopardy.
I might.
Yeah, you probably would. Anyway, so you brought that up. So with no proper UFC action over the weekend, there was Road to the Octagon, but I never got a chance to catch that. Did you catch any of that stuff at the weekend?
I didn't even know it was on until after Alan started posting stuff he did while he was there.
Yeah, Alan Joban was over in Shanghai. And in fact, Dean Amasinga, who runs the Performance Institute over in Shanghai, he wants to jump on the show and talk about it, because he's in charge of training a lot of the fighters out there. They're doing very well. At the weekend, I believe the Chinese fighters went 7-1. So nice. We'll get him on at some point. He's a great guy. Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira keep running into each other. Have you seen this?
Yeah. How do these guys keep running into each other?
I don't know.
They must have the same manager or something, and they keep sending him to the same places.
Alex lives in Brazil. Izzy lives in New Zealand. They're literally on other sides of the world, but somehow, some way, they keep bumping into each other. And they were both at different rugby team events in Sydney, I think, over the weekend, if I'm correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I need to get into some rugby.
Olha só, último dia na Austrália, né? Bom, agora chegando aqui. E olha só que eu encontro aqui, ó. Adivinhe, uma chance. Erraram. Israel
Do you know what? Do you know what I like about that? You know what I mean? Obviously, they're very, very intense rivals, you know, and there was a bit of stuff, you know, because Izzy, you know, kind of mocked his son or whatever afterwards. So it got a little bit of it got a little heated and things like that. But as we see here, now it seems like it's all playful, it's all well and good. Of course, it's competitive rivalry. But anytime you share an octagon or a fighting environment 4 times, look at that again.
Look at him. He's like, let's get it.
He should have shot the bow and arrow from the back of the TSA line. Dickhead. Yeah, no, it's great to see.
I think they seemingly have just a little bit of a different bond with each other since they've shared they've just competed against each other so many times. They probably just get sick of being angry at each other all the time. So it's kind of like if I get the chance, I'll beat the shit out of you, but like you got this weird respect for each other.
But the weird thing is though, so I think they were both in Sydney. They're both doing training sessions or something with different rugby teams. But even still, to be in the same line at TSA, at the same airport, 6 or 7 people separated. I mean, what are the odds of that happening? That's just insane. Their paths keep crossing. You know what I mean? I think they are destined for that rubber match in the UFC.
You think they'll fight again?
That's, as a fan, that's the one that I want to see for sure. Absolutely.
I'd love to see it again. I would too.
Out of all the opponents that you faced, who's a former opponent that you would say you have, I don't know, not a bond with, but the bigger relationship with?
It's probably 2. Probably Glover and probably Thiago. Probably Thiago Santos.
Thiago Santos is a weird one. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, we just had such an insane fight. It was only, I think he hit me with a body shot in the end of the second. But the first round was just absolutely insane. He spinning heel kicked me. We dropped each other with elbows. It was just really insane for a little bit. And I remember we were getting stitched up in the back. Both of us had nasty cuts in our eyebrows. And I remember he reached over, and I don't know if you know his manager, or he manages a lot of the Brazilians. His name's Alex. He's an older guy. I wish I remember his last name, but Alex was in there translating.
Does he do Anderson Silva as well? Does he wear glasses?
He does wear glasses sometimes, yeah.
I think I know who you mean. I think so.
Yeah, so he was back there. He was back there translating, and Thiago was just saying how much of an honor it was and how the battle was crazy or whatever. And then we ended up like having like a real kind of bro moment where like we're both getting stitched and kind of just, he gave me 5 and we kind of just held hands for a second. It was just like, it was a cool moment, you know? And then every time I see him after that, it's always, he doesn't speak much. He doesn't talk much. His English is much better, but he doesn't have a lot to say. But it's, you see him, it's handshakes and he just kind of blows people off. But every time he sees me, it's just this hug, like, how are you? How's your family? And then we separate, you know, it's just always a weird, we have this respect for each other that's very odd.
A weird handshake that extended too long.
Yeah, it does.
A little sexual, you know, there's a little bit of electricity between the two of you. Like, what is it? What am I feeling right now?
Yeah. And me and Glover have always had this, even before, I think I've told the story where he helped me in Brazil long time ago. My UFC debut in 2013, I blew my knee and I was walking through the airport trying to get home and needed surgery, and he helped me or whatever.
That's beautiful.
And he's always been so nice to me. We've always talked about him coming here and me going there and barbecuing and cooking, but we keep competing against each other. So like, it keeps messing all that up.
And when are you competing against him again? Because that's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, June 29th. I'm just going to keep competing. So you got a
little time.
I'm going to keep competing against him until I beat him at something.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of the best guys in the whole of the UFC, though. He just something about his energy, the warmness, you know what I mean? Because he's just so real and so warm and friendly, and the smile and the hug
kind of
that
worried,
he gives
though.
you.
I'm kind of worried, though.
Why?
Because Jamal asked me to come help him right before their fight. So I went and helped Jamal. And then they fight. And during the fight week, it was fine. When we were in Brazil, I'd seen Glover, you know, we shook hands. You could tell he was in fight mode, so I didn't really bother him too much. And I was the backup, so like I didn't want to be too friendly, and then something happened and we ended up fighting. But then afterwards, he was so beat up and he was so just banged up and well, rewind. I think I talked about this. Some of the fans that were with Jamal or people that were cheering for him were kind of screaming and hollering at Glover's wife and his sister. But then after they're screaming at them, then they're like, Anthony, come over here. Like someone made it look like I was with them, but I really wasn't. And then I seen him in the hotel afterwards and he was pretty beat up and he had glasses on, but even you could see the swelling even around his sunglasses. And his wife just glared at me, like clearly didn't like me. And I went to shake his hand and he was kind of talking to someone else and I just didn't want to bother him. So I hope that he's not like mad at me because I still would like to be his friend. But he just lost the title fight. And
exactly.
I just don't want him to be upset.
You're retiring from the sport. It's your final fight. It's your last hurrah. Your swan song, whatever you want to call it. It's for the world championship as well. Yeah. You know, it was a tough fight. It was a rough day at the office. He's black and blue. He's tired. He's beat up. He's confused. You're being a traitorous son of a bitch.
That's how I felt. Like at
that moment in time, he didn't want to be your best friend. But I'm sure now the healing has happened. The bruising is gone. And the bruised egos have also healed. Yeah. And that's what it ultimately comes down to, right? Know, for fighters, it is. And I'm not talking crap about Glover Teixeira. It's the ego. It's that son of a bitch beat me in a fight. You know what I mean? Because that's what drives and powers all of
that motherfucker helped him.
And that motherfucker helped him. No, but seriously though.
I get it. And I would never be mad at him for being upset about that. I get that.
No.
I just don't want him to be, you know, like for my own feelings, because I like him that much, you know.
But that's how it is. Time fixes everything. Mm-hmm. Time heals absolutely bloody. There's Beneil Dariush. Sorry, I finished practice a little late. All good. You still jumping on? Oh, yeah, he's ready now. All right, today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, listen, in this day and age, there's never been a bigger focus on mental health, but yet some people are still very much neglecting it. There's still a stigma. Some people don't want to own up. Some people don't want to admit that they have a problem. And some people, well, it's just too complicated and time consuming. And that is where BetterHelp comes in very, very easy. Because if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's all online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed professional therapist. And if you're not feeling the vibe, you can switch therapists at any time. So look, listen, you're going to get in your car. You're going to drive to the other side of town. You just do it all over your phone. You can FaceTime. You can make phone calls. Whatever it is that you're dealing with in life, take charge of it. Take charge of your mental health, okay? And do it a quick, easy, convenient, and a cheaper, cost-effective way. Plus, you haven't got to waste time driving to the other side of town, as I say. Look, listen, whatever it is, anger issues, anxiety, depression, addiction, you know, there's so much things. And most people are going through something. You know, I did the anger management for a while. I found that to be extremely beneficial. And maybe I got to call BetterHelp myself because I need a little top up. Let's be blooming honest. Look, listen, whatever you need, you know, whatever you think you need, talking to someone will always help. They always say problem shared is a problem halved, especially when you're talking to a professional. So give it a try. Just fill out the brief questionnaire. As I said, you get matched with a professional therapist when you go to betterhelp.com/believe. We're going to give you 10% off your first month. One more time. That is betterhelp.com/believe. What's up, Beneil?
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, brother. So just finished a training session by the looks of it.
Yes. I got a hose outside, so I hose down, so at least I'm fresh and clean. I don't feel the worst feeling is being gross and sweaty and then sitting in your car driving all the way home.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I remember a jiu-jitsu gym that I used to go to. That's what they had. They just had the hose outside because they didn't have the showers. Yeah, a little bit of shampoo, the hose, you're good to go. However, right now, it's freezing in Southern California.
This is freezing?
Well, it's cold. It's miserable. Rebecca's got the heating on in our house. My wife's got the heating on.
It's like 70 outside. You're getting no, man. This is great because it's not an ice bath like anything like that, but compared to my ice bath, it's a nice breeze. It's refreshing, especially after a hard practice where you're steaming in the room. It's nice to cool off.
For sure. How are you dealing with the you're talking about training? You said when you first jumped on that you're just kind of beat up and banged up. How's it been trying to stay motivated with such a long time in between fights? So I'm assuming you've been training this whole time, right?
It feels like a 20-week camp. Obviously, if I don't have a fight, I'm training. I do 2-a-days no matter what. But the thing that changes is the intensity of the practices and the duration. So if I have a fight, I do shorter practices and they're more intense. And so there's less learning, I would say. There's still learning, but less learning. It's more sharpening the tools. And so it's been kind of frustrating because it feels like a 20-week camp and 20 weeks of like hard 2-a-days. And I'm not really, I like to learn. When I'm learning, I'm more motivated. I can go into the gym more. It's been kind of tough, but you just have to remind yourself where you're at, and once you do that, you can reset and just continue to be fresh and go back into the gym and train and not care about whether the UFC is going to give you a shot or if Charles is going to pull out. And I'm just going to do my job, and my job is training, and I love my job.
So regardless, 5 days a week, fight or no fight, you're doing 2 training sessions. Pretty much guaranteed. Not always crazy intensity. Sometimes maybe just focus on technique or whatever. But generally, 2 a day, 5 days a week.
6 days a week. Saturdays we finish early, but we do sprints, and then we have a wrestling practice. The sprints are about 20 minutes. The wrestling practice is an hour straight, and then we're done. We finish early the day, and then we spend the rest of the day. Either we hang out with the team, we barbecue, we do the sauna ice bath stuff, and maybe play some games like Monopoly. But yeah, typically it's 6 days a week.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that's pure dedication. It's almost like you're getting ready to fight a former champion and then maybe one of the best in the goddamn world after that. I spoke, how's you got your own gym, right? It's the King's MMA in Yorba Linda. I was with one of your students recently. I was in the sauna. And I'm sitting there, and the guy comes in. I don't know if he told you or not. And he started asking questions. He said, I train with Beneil Dariush. Very, very nice young man. Did he mention that to you?
Someone did mention that, yeah. It wasn't, was it Caleb or was it Griff? It was one of those guys.
It was probably Caleb, I think. I can't remember.
Caleb, yeah. They're big fans of you.
How you like teaching?
I don't teach, to be honest with you. I have people, what I do is I have people teach. And then I'm in the classes. I'll train with the guys, and so that's the way I contribute to my school. When I have a fight, I don't train. I don't do regular jiu-jitsu classes anymore. I don't do regular striking classes. Everything gets really specific and personalized. But when I don't have a fight, I train my coach. I go into the kickboxing class. I go into the jiu-jitsu class. I just train just to train. And then with the goal of absorbing knowledge, getting new things and things like that. And then once I have a fight, I take specific things that I want and I put them into practice, and I constantly do situational training. I do, all my focus is on those situations that I believe are going to take place in the fight.
So when you're outside of training camp, are you kind of like the fine tuning guy that people just train with? You give them a couple little tips and then you just move on to the next round?
No, I'm the guy you go with to feel miserable. Because in my gym, like, remember, they know my mentality. So if anybody taps me, they can hold that over me forever for the rest of their life. So these guys are chasing me, and that's kind of the idea. You want guys chasing you. You want guys who are trying to kill you. So in my gym, first things first, I have to beat their ass. After I beat their ass, maybe I'll give them a couple of tips. But it's not a fine tuning thing. It's a discipline thing.
But you're doing what every coach says we should do. Do you know what I mean, Anthony? Because it's like, listen, what we do is in training camp, you're working towards that. You work on the technique and you work on your strength and you do your squats and all in between camps. But that's on paper. The reality is life gets in the way. Do you know what I mean? And like my coaches would say do that, but that's not what happened. In between fights, I'd go away, I'd get fat or whatever. I'd sit on my ass a little bit too much. But you are truly living that life. And I believe the proof is in the pudding, Beneil. 8 fights, 8 victories in a row now against massive competition, going up against Charles Oliveria, who's an incredible fighter. Talk to me about how the training camp's going and ultimately what the plan is with this guy.
Training camp's been really good. It's been a little bit longer than I would like. If I had fought May 6th, it would have been, the most ideal date. But it is what it is. Let's see. Training camp's been really good. The goal for this fight is to really just bring it to this guy. I don't feel there's a situation where I can't beat him in. I know a lot of people talk about his jiu-jitsu. I don't have a problem. When I look at his jiu-jitsu, I think he's more aggressive than me in terms of chasing submissions, but I don't think he has better jiu-jitsu than me. I think in a jiu-jitsu match, I beat him every single time. I think in terms of wrestling, I out-wrestle him. And in terms of striking, again, he's more aggressive and less defense. And sometimes I make that mistake too, but I think on a good day, defensively, I'm better than him. And so that's going to allow me to overcome him even in the striking. So there's no situation I can't beat this guy. So my goal for this fight is domination.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the jiu-jitsu part of kind of Charles's game because he is such a prolific finisher. Do you worry? Okay, I don't even know how to ask this. I guess what I'm getting at is I think sometimes people go into these fights with Charles and they're so focused because he is such a finisher that he's not the most fundamental jiu-jitsu player. He's not always positionally minded. He kind of is just chaining submissions together. So I think people, kind of retract from him a little bit, kind of like a cat in water. And then he just keeps training them together and eventually he'll catch people. But even people with really great jiu-jitsu, I think, have gotten into problems with him because they're just worried about his finishing, that they're not playing their own game. So do you just go in there and you just do, like, mentally, are you just going to play your jiu-jitsu game the way you play it and just be fundamentally sound, or do you worry about that at all?
I just make sure in the training camp I put myself in the crappy situations that I could possibly end up with. And if I can deal with it in the training, there's no reason why I can't deal with it in the fight. And I don't really feel like he's going to pose a threat to me in the jiu-jitsu. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like it. I've had my friend Naaman Gracie. He's been kind of helping me a lot for this fight. And I pretty much be like, okay, Naaman, I'm in bad situations. We're working here. He's like, oh, great. It sounds good for me.
Yeah, he loves
it's great for Naaman. And it's great for me, too, because I have to work my way out. And for him, he has to work looking for the submissions. And if you've ever seen Naaman fight, people are basically trying to run away from him all the fight because his jiu-jitsu is so scary. So it's kind of the same thing right now. My goal is to get up. My goal is to reverse. My goal is to find a way out. And his goal is to do what he does in his fights. Chase the guy down, hold him, submit him. And so I think, Naaman's taller, Naaman's bigger than him. Naaman is better jiu-jitsu. And if I could deal somewhat with Naaman, I could deal with this guy.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to choose my words very carefully when I say this, because I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Charles Oliveira. I think that reign that he was on was one of the most exciting. You know what I mean? His fights were just incredible, because often he'd find himself in a bit of hot water. He'd get dropped or whatever, but he'd still find a way to finish it. And I really respected him so much because from the reputation that he had, people said that he was a quitter and all the rest of it, which is absolute goddamn nonsense. I do believe the fighting at 145 exhausted him a little bit. But against Islam Makhachev, I don't know. The tap kind of came a little quick. As I say, I want to choose my words very, very carefully because I've got a lot of respect for him and everyone basically. But what do you think he's trying to do here? Do you think he's had his moment in the sun? Do you think or do you really think he's hell bent on becoming the champion again?
I agree with you as far as his legendary status. I think Charles is amazing. The fact that when he pulled out in May 6th, one of the reasons why I still stayed and said, okay, I'll fight this guy is because he is such a great fighter and he's such a talented fighter and he is a legend. I believe in our sport. So that was one of the reasons I stayed on. And the second reason is I really truly believe he is motivated to fight. When you watch his interviews, he's talking about he wants this so bad. A couple of people have sent me some of send me short clips because he doesn't speak Portuguese. It's hard to watch his interviews, but they'll send me clips of him, and it talks about him wanting to get the belt back. It talks about him being so motivated. And then as far as his last fight, I've even heard he was injured, so he didn't. That's one of the reasons why he didn't look so good the last fight. My thing is, I look at Charles and I say, what is the most dangerous Charles I could fight? How would I prepare for this Charles? And what is necessary to be victorious, and not just victorious, dominant? And that's how I've been approaching this fight. Is just to look for the best Charles.
So the best Charles. What is that, or at least the most dangerous Charles for you? Because I feel like you felt like you had a 20-week training camp. I feel like we've been talking about kind of the ins and outs and the X's and O's of this fight. And I've never once looked at Charles' jiu-jitsu as a genuine threat to you. And maybe that's me just overlooking it, but I guess I'm just such a big fan of your jiu-jitsu game that it just seems like, all right, well, that at worst that cancels each other out. For you, where do you think he's the most dangerous? Is it his aggressiveness? So you've talked about that a couple times.
Yeah. So I think what makes Charles dangerous is the fact that he will give up good positions in order to go for a submission where he doesn't have it for sure 100%. And the fact that he is so reckless with his offense, sometimes he'll risk a secure defensive position in order to be extra offensive, very uber offensive. And so that's what makes him so dangerous. And, it's also what makes him so exciting. Sometimes he gets dropped, but then, he finds a way to come back and win. And it's made him such a fan favorite. The thing that I think the best Charles, in my opinion, is the Charles who is uber offensive, but he does one thing that he didn't do his last fight, and that's distance management. If he does a good job managing distance, and is as offensive as he can be, he is so dangerous, and he is such a good fighter. And so what I have to do is take that away from him. I have to take those abilities away from him, not allow him to be so in control of the distance, and so if I can do that, I could deal with his offense as well.
Are you talking about sorry, Mike, I'm gonna jump in real quick.
No, not at all.
Are you talking about because I noticed in the Islam fight, he didn't throw the front kicks to the body as much, or kind of the long knees or stuff like that?
So, for example, he tried actually with Makhachev to throw a lot of push kicks, and Makhachev, what he would do was, it's not parry, but he kind of wave him off, right? And because of that, he got not careless, is he got frustrated, and so he became more aggressive with his hands, which left him open more for counters and takedowns. But the thing is, if you're throwing the push kick and the guy's not doing anything to you, just throw it again, because it's gonna eventually get through, or set it up to throw a kick or something like that. But because he's like, oh, it didn't land, now I got to use my hands, and he would go in with his hands and get countered, or he wouldn't cut off the angle, fighting a southpaw. So I just felt like he was rushing. That was the best way that I could put it. But then again, Charles always looks like he's rushing in this fight. So it's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell what went wrong there. But if I was, for example, let's say I was Charles's coach, and I'm in that fight in between rounds for the Makhachev fight, I would tell him, hey, look, your push kick is working. Even if the guy's parrying it, that's okay. Throw a high kick and then throw it again. Step outside more. You don't have to chase the cross, because if you keep throwing the cross, he's going to keep throwing that left hand counter, or he's going to throw that right hook, and this is how he's catching you. So don't rush. And then that's how he got caught. He rushed in, got caught with a right hand counter.
I mean, that's the thing with Charles, isn't it? He believes in himself so much. He believes he can hurt you on the floor. He believes he can snatch an opportunity of a submission at any second. You know what I mean? So, and that is what makes him exciting. But I think, I mean, if he's very honest, when he looks at somebody like you in terms of a jiu-jitsu match, or certainly an MMA jiu-jitsu, you can certainly hold your own there. In wrestling, I think he's going to struggle to take you down. I mean, look at what you did to Mateusz Gamrot, and that guy single legs everybody. So when you put all that together, are you expecting him to come forward like a Muay Thai maniac, trying to take your head off? And then obviously if he connects with a shot or right hand, he's got good knees, and use that to open up the submissions? Is that what you expect?
The thing is, I have to look at it like how he's fought everybody else. He comes in with aggressive striking and then shoots. Even with Makhachev, he kept trying to take him down with a body lock or whatever, and he got reversed. But he does that. He did that pretty much all his fights, except for the Gaethje fight. He didn't really get a chance to do that in the Gaethje fight. He got dropped a couple of times, and he dropped Gaethje. But what he does is he comes out aggressive with his hands, and then he does shoot. He even shot against Chandler. So that's what I'm expecting is just him kind of putting it all together. He uses his hands, his knees, and kicks, and then eventually looks for his takedown. And so if I get too focused on the hands, he'll take me down. Okay, Mateusz didn't take me down, but maybe this guy will. I'm not perfect. My takedown defense is not perfect. I just if I'm not on, I'm gonna get taken down. So the most important thing is to be on in all the situations.
Let me just jump in there, Anthony. I've got to ask you about this. So obviously, I mean, one would think, and I don't know what you've heard from the UFC, but this is a title fight eliminator, right? You would think that you're fighting for the belt next. Is that the official word? Because we know we've got Justin and Dustin for the BMF. What happens if Justin and Dustin go out there, put on a Fight of the Year performance, and then they get to fight Islam Makhachev next after you beat Charles Oliveira?
Well,
and I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just trying to
I get it. I get what you're saying. The UFC has promised me, this is the first time I've ever gotten word from them where they said, if you win this fight, you're the number one contender. So this is the first time from them. I've never heard that before, So I have that. But then again, I understand the fight for the BMF. That is a title contention fight. It's just it takes place after me. I don't think they'll be able to skip me. Man, what a fight that's gonna be. I am stoked for that fight, just to watch that fight, because that is those guys are legends.
So I've been ringing your bell for a long time as far as just your career and the last run that you've been on. It's been amazing, but it seems like, with all respect, it seems like sometimes you do yourself a little bit of a disservice. Not because you won't. I've never expected anybody.
You never ran this by me, Beneil. I don't know. He's gone rogue.
I'm just being honest here. Like,
he's gone rogue
in terms of just promotion, and you always say the right thing, the most respectful thing, and you avoid the controversy for the most part. And I always wondered, is it if you're not getting asked the right questions or whatever, but has it been frustrating that you do seemingly get passed over because you don't always engage in a lot of the bullshit trash talk and all that stuff?
So if the thing is, there's like multiple reasons for this. One is, if I get caught up in it, I'm acting like someone I'm not. Like it's something I don't believe in, right? I don't like the cookie cutter way of like doing things, right? You talk a little trash, you do after post fight, you call somebody out, you do this. It's cookie cutter. I don't like it. I don't feel it's of my nature, so I don't do it. Another thing is I always talk about is my kids. When I'm done fighting and my kids watch my interviews, Lord willing, they watch my interviews. I don't want to be a hypocrite to them. I tell them one thing and then I do another thing. And so it just, all of it plays into that. I want to be, obviously I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to end up being somewhat of a hypocrite no matter what, but I want to be as consistent as I possibly can be inside the octagon, outside the octagon. What I say to strangers who don't speak to anybody else about me or to my loved ones, I want it always to be the same. That's my goal. And so I'm not going to put on a show just because there's a camera on me.
I'm just giggling to myself because you're absolutely right, Beneil. Yeah. And I'm like, what are my kids gonna think when they see mine? I'm joking. They've seen them. Sorry, Anthony. Go on.
No, do you think like a win over someone that is a fan favorite and is as popular as Charles is because of that legendary run he was on? Like sometimes at some point the performances, you've got to do all that work for you, anyways, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been preaching, right? It's just get it done by merit. And I think Charles is the nail in the coffin. If I could beat Charles, there's no more denying me anymore. I know. Well,
that's kind of what Charles did, right? Because he doesn't speak a lot of English. He kind of he just did it off of his fights and his excitement, and he didn't even have the ability to really talk a bunch of trash.
Yeah, he had a great run. He beat some amazing fighters, So respect to Charles too. He did it the right way, and look at him now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say, because Charles doesn't even speak English. You know what I mean? And I said to him before, and I was saying it at the time, one of the most exciting fights that we've ever seen, because these fights were all like that. And it's not through talking crap. It's not through selling himself out. It's not through insulting opponents. It's doing what he does inside the octagon. All right, let's talk about HTLT supplements. And I just want to stress right off the top that these supplements, they're not just for elite athletes. They're for the average Joes. They're for the schmoes. They're for the guys and girls that just want to live a better life. They want to be healthier and they want to see results, okay? The HTLT supplements, they help overall living. Simple as that. Workouts get easier. Motivation levels are higher. Workout sessions are easier, and halfway through a normal workout where you typically, you're starting to dip, you're looking for your way out, well, you don't feel as gassed. That's when you're taking the pre-workout. Let me tell you, that thing is fantastic. And you don't feel all jittery either. They have the everyday multivitamins. They got the Shred. I was using that for a while when I was out in Tenerife last time. Got to get back on that, though. Been on the burgers a bit. The Shred will have me popping and rocking with a six-pack in no time. The protein powder, that tastes delicious. It's all scientifically backed in over a dozen human trials, all showing clear benefits for sleep, mood, energy, performance, well-being, and weight loss, not specific to one sport or cardio only. Simply taking it will get you back to a place of overall improvement, confidence, and motivation. Listen, it isn't just a supplement for the hardcore athlete, but for anyone, including a couch potato who has trouble even getting up to exercise. You want to put the best stuff in your body. You want to give yourself the best chance. So go to HTLT Subs. Check out everything from, as I said, the pre-workout to the protein and the supplements. When you check out, use the promo code Bisping for 10% off. Once again, that is HTLT Subs. The code is Bisping for 10% off your entire order. So 22-4, Beneil. Okay, 8-fight win streak. You go through the legendary Charles Oliveria, Islam Makhachev. Now, he hasn't got a fight lined up, right? Is he still waiting? I'm assuming the winner of this will be his next one. Well, Abu Dhabi, October. Yeah. I haven't heard anything, but is that what it's looking like?
Exactly is what I got from the UFC, because when Charles pulled out for the May 6th card, I said, listen, I don't want to do it, but why don't we just do, I don't want to stay in camp basically, but I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we just set it up? I fight July against Makhachev, because this guy just pulled out. They're like, no, we have to save Makhachev for Abu Dhabi. So that was the other thing. And then I offered to fight Arman Sarukian May 6th, so that way I could just, be done. And the UFC said no.
See that? I mean, look, listen. Well,
if I was Sarukian, I'd say no too.
No, but that's unbelievable that you were willing to risk what you have, your position that you fought hard for, to go up against Arman Tsarukyan and risk it all. I mean, I'm not kissing your ass, but that speaks so much about the character of you as a fighter, because he's a risky fight for anybody. He's a very, very talented guy.
For sure. I mean, the Gamrot fight was a risky fight, right? I mean,
so risky,
Gamrot, right? So everybody's like, don't, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. My management and my team didn't like the fight. Ali was like, no. Master was like, we can fight anybody, but why not fight somebody right ahead of us, right? And if I had waited for somebody ahead of me, I may have not fought last year, right? So that was one of the reasons why I chose Gamrot. I was like, I'm tired of waiting. I got injured. I couldn't fight Makhachev, and to be honest, Gamrot is so dang good. So I want to fight this guy, and that's how that fight happened. And then when Charles got hurt, I just figured I'd throw it out there, see if they want to put me against Arman, and they said no.
So Arman said no. Okay, I get that. I mean,
no.
I'm assuming
Arman said
UFC.
Yes. The UFC said no. They said they want to put me. They want me to fight Charles. They want this fight, so that's why.
And that's obviously going down in Vancouver. Have you been up there before? I hear it's absolutely beautiful.
That's what I hear as well. I have not been there. To be honest, I don't think I've been to Canada since I was 17. So it's been 17 years since I was there.
So I'm assuming you wanted to fight or Gamrot or Tsarukyan or anybody just to get active. I'm looking at your record here. So you only had one fight last year, 2 fights in 2020. Obviously, this is how you pay the bills. You want to be busy. You want to move up the rankings, but you want to get paid as well.
Right. And, I just think Arman is a great fighter. I think he's going to be top 5. He's going to be challenging for the title one day. So I just figured, why not just fight him now? For me, the belt's cool. Don't get me wrong. I do want the belt. I believe the belt's important, but it's not the most important thing for me. The most important thing is making sure when I'm done with my career, I didn't skip anybody that I thought was an amazing fighter. I want to make sure I fight everybody, and I want to fight the best guys.
So I don't want to, knock on wood. I don't want to get you thinking too far ahead, but just as a competitor in the and you guys were booked to fight before. How do you feel about the champion? How do you feel about Makhachev and his skill set out compares to yours? Like when you watch him fight, anytime you watch it, I watch anyone in my own division, I always say, well, I would do this, or I got to worry about that, or like, how do you feel about that?
So I would say the two things that make him great are his basics and his composure. He doesn't put a pace like, let's say, Khabib does. I know everybody compares him to Khabib. Well, they do have technically they have similar moves, but in terms of the way they use their basics and in terms of the pace they set up and their composure, they're very different fighters. So I would say what makes him great is his composure and his basics.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's not doing anything particularly flashy. He just does everything at a very, very high level. I was just looking at your record again there. 34 years old. Justin Gaethje, 34 years old. Dustin Poirier, 34 years old. And the reason I bring that up is because Justin said kind of recently, look, listen, I'm 34. I'm definitely getting towards the end of my career. He wants to have the BMF title. He wants to win that, then fight for the belt and maybe defend it a couple of times. And then he's done with the sport. Obviously, that's in a perfect world. That's what he wants to do. Do you have a similar career path, Beneil? When I mean, kind of laid out in your mind what would be perfect?
No, I don't, to be honest with you. I was, because I thought about it like, man, there was a period where I was like praying, when am I going to retire? Like, what do I do after I'm done retiring? And I remember just going back to the Bible is like, worry about the day. Don't worry about tomorrow. God will take care of tomorrow. So I worry about today. And as far as retiring goes, I think there's going to be a day. I remember I had a weird dream. I was walking into the octagon, getting ready for a fight, and I was fighting some young kid. And as I walk into that octagon, my music plays. Everything goes the way it's supposed to do. And I'm inside that octagon. I remember I didn't feel anything. There was like zero excitement. I was not excited for the fight. I had no butterflies. I was, the enjoyment of the fight, it wasn't there. And I woke up. And I think there's going to come a day where I'm going to go inside that octagon and I'm just not going to feel anything. And that's going to be the day I'm going to be like, okay, that's it. I'm done.
So you think, I was going to say, so what do you think that dream was a sign of? Basically, what you're saying is, though, you're going to keep doing it. And when the time comes where you don't get that feeling, that excitement, those butterflies, the nerves, whatever you want to call it, when that time comes, then you'll step away.
Yeah. And to be honest with you right now, I surround myself with, guys who are current contenders. I surround myself with older guys to learn from. And then I also have a ton of young guys around me who are coming in from like Division I colleges. They're MMA guys, new MMA guys. And, these are the guys I try to work with a lot because I feel the contenders, it helps me see where I'm at in terms of my level. But then also these young guys, are they hungrier than me? Because that's another one. Because if the young guys are hungrier than me, then there's a problem. I know it's hard to say this, but if a young guy is outworking me, we have an issue. Because I've been in this fire, I've been in this grind for a long time. There's no way a young guy comes in and he could do it better than me. So if I make sure I keep up with all the practices, I make sure I'm learning new things. And so as long as I have the desire to do that, I don't see myself retiring. But if that starts to disappear, that's going to be another sign for me that, hey, you're not in this anymore.
So what is the mindset though? So say you're in the gym and a young guy does come in, right? And he is out working you and he is out hustling you and he is going hard and he does seem hungrier. What is like the internal thought process that you're going through? You're like, what the fuck, Beneil?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, how the hell is this guy doing this? But here's the thing. I haven't met that guy yet, and I have a lot of young guys around me. They work very hard. They're absolute dogs. They're very hard workers, but they're not going to outwork me. Whether it's on the mat or off the mat where it's time to learn, it's time to study tape, things like that. I'm still top dog when it comes to the hours I put in.
I do the same thing in training. And I think Mark Montoya told me a long time ago, when you stop wanting to take out the new guy is when you should start looking to doing something else. Because I still, you go to you get someone that travels in or you go somewhere else. And like, the PFL light heavyweight champ, the first time I met him, when he came to Factory X, I remember feeling that like, oh, no way. There's not going to be anybody better in my weight class in this gym. Can't do it. And Mark always said when you stop feeling like that is when you should start looking to do something else.
Yeah, that's a great example. One guy that's him and I go back and forth all the time is Marvin. Marvin Vittori. He is so good. He's a stud everywhere, right? And so there'll be weeks where he's kind of getting the better of me. And then I'll see what's going on, study tape, find new moves, and then I'll go back there and then I'll start getting the better of him. But here's the thing about Marvin. Marvin, he may not look it, but he knows when to humble himself and ask questions. Marvin will be like, "Hey, what did you do to me here?" And then I'll be like, "Okay, come on, let me show you." So I'll show him everything, and when I show him everything, he actually learns really fast. And so as soon as he learns, he will take that stuff and he'll apply it next time, whether it be in the defensive manner or it'll be in the offensive manner, but he'll apply it. And now all of a sudden I'm back to being the losing guy. I'm the guy who's losing again. So then I have to go again and find new things to add to my game. So guys like him, I have guys like him. I have Giga. I have other guys to train with that I'm constantly having to add things to my game. It's so good. It helps me grow so fast.
And that's how you get better, though. And that's why you need those training partners. Because if you're the top dog in the room and you're whooping everyone's ass, it's only them that are getting better and that are improving. A couple of big fights I've got to ask your opinion on. Obviously, McGregor's going to be fighting Chandler at some point, probably in December. Dustin thinks that Conor gets the job done. Eddie Alvarez thinks Conor gets the job done. They have in common, they both got smoked off Conor McGregor. So I think that's maybe swaying their pick. But what do you think?
I'm leaning towards Conor as well. But here's the thing: Chandler's been in the fire. He stayed he's been fighting. He's been active. I think that's a big advantage for him. And the other thing is, if Chandler uses all his skills, all his tools, it's an easy fight for him. I shouldn't say easy, but it's a very winnable fight for him. He has he has enough striking to engage with him and then look for the takedown. And then once you start mixing in the takedown, I think Conor will be more hesitant for his counters or for his kicks and his movement. It's gonna close off his movement. But I just don't think Chandler's gonna do it. I think Chandler's gonna try to put on a really exciting fight, and he's gonna try to be a showman, and it could cost him the fight. But who knows? Maybe this is the one fight where he says, "Nah, I'm gonna be as tactical as possible." He comes out, wrestles the first round, and starts striking in the second round, and then goes back to wrestling in the third round.
He's going to fight the kind of fight that all Justin Gage's coaches want Justin to fight. He's going to use the wrestling. On that one, Justin versus Dustin, the BMF. Who becomes the new BMF champ?
I think Justin can do this. I think he's hungrier. I think he's gotten better in terms of defense and footwork. But at the same time, Dustin Poirier is such a dog. When it comes to stand-up fights, he just gets stronger. I don't know how to explain it. He reminds me of the kind of guy, he could be completely out of shape and he'll find a way to go 5 rounds. And as he's going those 5 rounds, he finds ways to win, basically. He finds little openings. And credit to him. That's a special talent. That's not something you just get you just get with training. That's something I don't know if it's his eyes or the way his brain processes stuff, but even when he's exhausted, he can find the little gap. So lots of credit to him in that term. But I think Justin Gaethje is hungrier, and I think Justin Gaethje can do it.
Yeah, I like the Fiziev fight. I think showed a lot with Gaethje's, I don't know, his growth and just his hunger. Because you kind of wonder, they start getting these big checks. They're in these huge fights. You challenge for the title. You kind of were turned away. And then they feed you to, a guy like Rafael Fiziev. And you're just like, wow, that's a tough fight. And then he goes in there, looks fantastic. You're just like, all right, this guy's still hungry and still chasing.
Yeah. And let me be honest with you guys. The Fiziev fight, the thing that I think Justin surprised everybody with was, or at least surprised me with, was the speed of his footwork. Mm-hmm. And his in and out. The way he would fake and then go to the low kick was light years better than what he did with Charles. Because with Charles, he just threw the leg kick a million times. And if it landed a few times, but Charles was ready to check. But with the Fiziev fight, he would fake it and then go. He would fake it, then he would throw punches. And then he would angle. And so you couldn't find him. Even a guy like Fiziev, who's such a great striker, he couldn't find him. So that Justin is going to be a problem for anybody, especially with the fact that a jab from him hurts. Bro, the guy, he can throw a jab and he can hurt you. The last round with Fiziev, he threw a bunch of jabs and he busted up Fiziev. That's incredible. So Justin is just both guys. They're special athletes, right? I think Justin Gaethje has more power, obviously, and his speed and his footwork is through the roof. So he has that going for him. And then Dustin Poirier, his ability to go into a dogfight and to overcome is, I think, the best, even against a guy like Justin Gaethje.
And that's why they're fighting for the BMF belt, and I'll be honest, I had no problem with it. I'm like, if there's two guys, if they're going to bring that belt back, that makes sense for all the reasons you just said. No point asking you who's going to win between you and Charles Oliveira, because I'm damn sure you're not working your ass off to go turn up and lose a fight. So we'll wrap this up. Beneil, I could see a little bit of blue sky starting to pop up down there. You're in Huntington Beach?
No, I'm in Anaheim. My gym's here in Anaheim. It's
okay.
Close to Yorba Linda. I just finished the wrestling practice, MMA wrestling. So,
well, listen, all the best with the rest of the training camp, Beneil. We truly appreciate your time. Thank you very much, because I know, it's been a long, long camp, 20 weeks, but still, it's all going to pay off. All the best. Thank you very much, and hopefully you'll come back and do this again soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me. Y'all have a great one.
All the best.
Take care, man.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. There he is. Is there a nicer guy in the
It doesn't get any nicer.
Martial arts?
It doesn't. I was had myself down a rabbit hole there for a second. I was like, I knew what I wanted to ask, but I didn't know how to say it.
You're kicking yourself in the feet or whatever. I'm like,
you kind of do yourself a disservice sometimes when it comes to fight matches and bookings and
I'm like, Beneil's one of the good guys. Take it easy, one of the good guys.
But once I got stuck in a hole and I couldn't get out.
It's like that, isn't it? It's like that because just not talking about Beneil, talking about doing this kind of job. You know what I mean? Over the years, I've got better and more natural. I remember when I first started interviewing someone, I was like, I'm not an interviewer. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making this up as I go along. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's going to be incredible. It's going to be a fantastic fight. Can't wait for that one. Him versus Charles Oliveira. Nunes versus Aldana. That's a tremendous fight. But the one that's jumping off the page for me, it's got to be the Beneil Dariush and the Charles Oliveira. I think that's fair to say the people's main event. Totally. Right. What else should we get to? We got some questions to get to, which we will do later. It's kind of a slower news week, as I've said 75,000 times when I'm filling up a bit of time. Ian Garry. Yes, Harrington. Yes, Harrington.
Look, it's your show. I was going to jump in with something insanely different, so don't even worry about it.
Well, how different are we talking?
Just something else on the notes. This is a better story.
Well, Ian Garry says that he's going to bring the UFC back to Dublin and then take all the Irish champions in Cage Warriors over with him to dominate in the UFC. We've got 3 Cage Warriors Irish champions. We've got Caelan Loughnan, we've got Paul Hughes, and we've got Rhys McKee. Those boys are all on the verge of signing for the UFC now. I think Rhys McKee did sign with the UFC, fought on Fight Island against Khamzat Chimaev, if I can remember correctly. So it's inevitable that the UFC are going to come back. They're going to come back to Ireland, and I'm the guy that's going to make it happen, and I'm excited for it. I believe after this fight, when I beat Neil Magny, when I smoke someone else in the top 15, I'm going to be able to pull them back to Europe to get that Irish base breathing again, to get everyone hyped, to get that fire burning, and then watch all these guys follow behind me to the UFC and set the stage alight again. I want to see him versus bloody Joaquin Buckley.
I don't know. Yeah, we need Buckley.
That's the fight.
That's the fight in Ireland.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not hating on Neil Magny. Neil Magny's awesome. That'll be a sensational fight as well. But just for the shit talk for them too. Listen, it has been a while since the UFC went to Ireland, and with Ian Garry doing the things that he is doing, because he is doing big things. He's undefeated in his whole career, undefeated in the UFC. The way that he's beating people. I mean, he's trying to follow in the footsteps of Conor McGregor. So far, so good.
He's got the mouthpiece too. He sounds good. He says the right things. He's just the right amount of arrogant without being hated, you know?
Yep.
I like the guy. I mean, we got the same manager. We spent a little bit of time together chit-chatting. Like he's a nice guy, but he's definitely he's got the media part of it down for sure.
Oh, no, for sure. No, he's very, very well trained when it comes to that. But more importantly, inside the octagon, but still, not much of a story. Harrington, come on then. Give us this brainstorming, astronomical, crazy, sensational story that we just absolutely have to talk about.
Well, just real quick, moment of follow-up on that last one. Brian Battle and Joaquin Buckley actually agreed they would fight each other. The winner would get Ian Garry. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Everyone's booking their own fights these days.
Yeah. I like Brian Battle. We should get that guy on.
We should get him. Send the message, Harrington.
Yeah. All right, I'm on it as soon as this episode's over. Also,
now.
All right, while I'm talking, Israel Adesanya says that he gives Robert Whittaker a 75% chance to win his fight with Dricus du Plessis, and he says Dricus is a dum-dum for not taking that fight to begin with.
Yeah, we spoke about this last week, Harrington. So you're a bit of a dum-dum. Yeah, we literally went through this.
All right. Well, he also did say that he'd be open to a Whittaker trilogy if and when Whittaker wins that.
That was the reason that we spoke about it.
There's the rest of it.
Yeah, there was the rest of it. Hey, fair play, Harrington. I know you're trying. You're trying your goddamn hardest. All right, guys. Fit Bod is back. It's been a while since we did an ad read with these guys, but I'm glad they're back because this is a fantastic app that you need. Okay, listen, you go to the gym, you don't know what you're doing, you got no inspiration, you're bored, whatever, you're not seeing results. You think maybe I need a personal trainer. but a personal trainer is very, very expensive. That is where Fitbod comes in. It is the app that you need. You put it on your phone, you open it up, and you are off to the races, okay? So whether you've been missing gym time or you've hit a plateau, a fresh start has never been easier. The app switches up your exercise so you can avoid overtraining and burnout, okay? Even if you've hit a plateau, and your program changes based on your personal progress for maximized results. So whatever equipment you have, right? If you're in the weight room and you've got everything, that's fine. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're in a park. Maybe you're in a garage. Maybe you got a couple of little rinky-dinky weights at home. Whatever you have, the Fitbod app will give you a workout based upon the equipment that you have available to you. Also, there is 4K videos, okay, showing every movement, every exercise, over 1,400 high-definition demonstration videos, and a full year of Fitbod will cost you less than the cost of a single session with a personal trainer. So it's an incredible offer. It's an incredible app. If you want to work out, you need a bit of motivation, you want a new routine, you're just bored, give it a try. If you don't have time to get to the gym, but you have time to do something, to work out, give it a try. It'll give you something to do in your house, in your bedroom, in the park, on the field, wherever the bloody hell you are. Join Fitbod today and build a routine that lasts all year. And this is great. Get 25% off your subscription. Or this is even better. Try the app out for free at fitbod.me/believe. 25% off your subscription, or try it out for free. When you go to fitbod.me/believe. The Ultimate Fighter, it comes back tonight. Anthony.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah. Were you a fan of that show when, in its prime, if you will?
No, I was mad at it, to be honest with you. I tried twice. Tried out for the Ultimate Fighter twice when they used to do the open workouts, and I never even made the second round ever.
Really?
Never.
Really?
So I was like, fuck the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, well, I kind of get it, because I remember when season 1 came out, and old listeners of this podcast have heard this before, but all you new guys, subscribe and ring the bell, please, if you haven't done so. What are you waiting for? I remember when it came on, it used to show on Bravo TV in the UK, and it came on, and I wanted to watch it, and Rebecca wouldn't let us watch it in the house. She said, no, because I said, why? She said, because you should be on that. You should be on it. And I know if you got on it, you'd win the whole goddamn thing. But I remember seeing that and just thinking,
what a believer in you. That's amazing.
Oh, she always was, bless her. She always was. I don't know why. But it changed the sport. And I'm glad to see it back. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Hopefully we have some amazing talent on there.
I want to get back into it and I don't know, and just follow along with the stories and stuff. But I was bitter for a long time because it would have, at points I've thought like, all right, maybe the way I did it was better and it worked out the way that it was supposed to. But God, I just needed a break so bad at that time. I just needed an opportunity. And I think that I would have been, and honestly, I probably would have been a shit show at that time in my life. I was young. I was partying really hard. I might have been the next, I don't remember that kid's name, the blonde kid that went all crazy ballistic all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd have made
Bang, bro. Not that guy, the other one.
Yeah. What the hell was that kid's name? I don't even remember now. It doesn't matter. But I might have been a drunk idiot mess and blown my whole career at the time because I would have looked like a fool. So maybe it worked out for the best, but I just needed a break. I needed an opportunity. I just need something to go my way so bad at that time. And I was just so bitter.
What seasons did you try out for?
Would have been what season were you on?
3.
I think it would have been like
4 was the comeback, so it must have been 5, 6, 7.
I think it was 7. I think 7 was middleweights. It would have been.
Who the coaches were?
No, I don't remember.
I don't.
Maybe. No, I don't remember. I'm sure Harrington knows though.
He knows everything. But yeah, no, it's going to be good to get back. I mean, listen, if anyone's going to, because the problem was, I mean, people say, how many seasons of The Ultimate Fighter did they do? It was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot. It was like almost 30, something like that. And then when you look at the amount of talent that came from The Ultimate Fighter, it's unbelievable. I mean, season 1, Kenny, Stefan, rest his soul, Forrest, Kenny Florian, Diego Sanchez.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on. Season 2, Rashad Evans. Who else? Crazy. Joe Stevenson. There was me, Matt Hamill, Kenny Florian, Ed Herman. It's crazy that Ed Herman just kind of retired, but it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Kelvin Gastelum, I was in later seasons. The amount of talent that came through the Ultimate Fight. I mean, what a feeding.
I think Court McGee won that season that I was trying out for.
Oh, did he really?
I think Court McGee won that season, yeah.
And then he knocked out Robert Whittaker as well.
Oh, no kidding. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Court McGee knocked out Robert Whittaker.
That's nuts.
And that's why Robert Whittaker moved up to 185. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, because I think Stephen Thompson beat Robert Whittaker too, right?
He did. At
170.
Yeah, and then that's when he went up. Liddell versus Ortiz, Harrington's saying.
Was that season 7? No.
Must have.
Court McGee.
I had Ortiz versus Shamrock. Shamrock was the worst coach.
Was he?
Oh my God. Listen, Tito Ortiz, say what you want about the guy. He ran a fucking training camp. I'm telling you, oh God. The only problem was, tight ship. 7 days a week, no rest days. 7 days a week, we worked our asses off. It was bloody insane. Ken Shamrock on the flip side. Do you know what I mean? He showed up with his bodybuilding coach, juiced out to the max, and one of his buds. And a lot of the time they were going for training, and he would order pizza, and they would watch old reruns of Ken Shamrock fights. I swear to God. And he'd stand there in front of him, just all jacked, watching himself, like getting all hyped up. And all the other people, they'd just kind of slink off in the gym and go and get an aerodyne bike or something. They're we're fighting in 2 days. We got to do something.
We got to do something instead of watching you jerk off to yourself.
Ken Shamrock's going to eat bloody pizza. Shout out Ken Shamrock, legend of the game. All right, look, listen, if you've got a question, send them into the bympod@gmail.com. We've got fights coming up this weekend. We've got pay-per-views coming up soon. We've got questions to answer because you're sending them in. bympod@gmail.com. Harrington.
If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the show. And hit that, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new video drops. And if you want to catch over 400 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use the promo code BYM. Get yourself a 7-day free trial. Check out over 20 great shows on the network.
All right, first question we got here today is from Mr.
Hold on. Brian, how are you? You haven't jumped in? There's been no one-liners?
No, you guys were crushing it with Beneil. I feel like
there's no conspiracy corner.
I mean, he's like, I mean, there is all sorts of stuff, but we don't have time to watch 15-minute videos. Saying that
we're dismissing you straight away. I'm here to listen. I'm here to be educated.
I do feel a little dismissed sometimes, but that's all right. We're not here to talk about the crazy things that happen in the world.
Yeah, but you just jump in and just totally fuck us off anyway. I'm like, hold on a minute. He just jumps on, goes, fuck off, and then off the camera. You know what I mean? Because you have the ability to do so. You're steering this ship.
That's true. We
can't jump in and out. Do you know what I mean? Right. Yeah. Anyway, what have we got?
I'll bring something fun next on
Bring
Monday.
something for we're doing an official conspiracy corner. How about this, Anthony? Are you going to be home?
Yeah. I'm here for you.
We got to do the chip challenge.
I'm in.
Right, Thursday, we're doing it. Thursday. We all have them 100% locked in.
100%.
One chip challenge. We're doing it.
And we should have Brian bring one conspiracy to the episode.
I will.
Brian, do it. Yeah, Brian, think about it.
I'll text you guys a list of them, and you can give me the one you want to talk about on the show.
I think we just let him bring it.
All right, fine.
Just bring it. It's Conspiracy Corner, the one chip challenge. We'll have a guest. We got Mackenzie Dern joining Thursday. She couldn't do today. She was down to do yesterday, but it was Memorial Day, and you guys were barbecuing and stuff, and etc. But Brian, what do we have then?
All right. So the first question we have here is from Mr. Joseph Fekete. I'm gonna say I said that right.
Hey BYM crew, I got a question for all of you. I just seen this morning that John Jones and Stipe fight is off. I don't know why it's off, but it's super annoying. My question is, John Jones wanted to fight Stipe because he's considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, which he deserves. But he also said that he wants to retire after fighting Stipe. since that fight's not going to go on now and he can't, beat the greatest heavyweight of all time, do you think that he should just break his record of the most title defense and become the greatest heavyweight of all time that way? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Bye.
So the reason I was looking at my phone right then, because I Googled John Jones's name, because I haven't seen that. I mean, I know there's been some speculation, shall we say. I know Chael Sonnen came out and, said that it's going to be Sergey Pavlovich. I haven't heard anything of the sort. Chael says a lot.
Love
Chael may or may not just make random shit up for the sake of a YouTube video.
Chael was next door neighbors with DB Cooper, don't you know?
Right, yeah, there you go. There's another conspiracy for you right there. Chael claims to know who DB Cooper is.
Who's DB Cooper?
DB Cooper is a guy who hijacked a plane, got a shit ton of money, and then parachuted from the plane. And they never found out who he was. They don't even know if his name is DB Cooper. There's actually a Netflix documentary about DB Cooper, and they still don't really know for sure who it was.
Hold on 1 second.
Should have went
Mom.
to jail.
Hiya.
Is everything okay?
Yes. Did you get the message before?
I didn't. Mum, I'm live on the podcast, and so are you.
Oh, are you?
Say hello to the believers. Say hello, believers.
What?
Say hello, believers.
Hello, believers. Hope you believe everything that Michael tells you.
Yeah. Say hello to Anthony Smith.
Hello, Anthony.
Hello.
Yeah, you can't hear me said hello because I got headphones in. I'll call you back as soon as I'm done, Mum. We're just wrapping this up.
Is it true, Michael, that you might have to have heart surgery?
No, it's not true that I might have to have bloody heart surgery. Who's telling you this? We're live on a podcast, Mom. Don't be talking about medical shit. Right, I'll call you back, Mom. Bye-bye. Where the hell is she getting that shit? What's she going to...
You're not, right? You're okay?
I am not having heart surgery, no. Okay, I have not been to a doctor anytime recently, so I don't know where she's getting that from. My God. What was the question? Stipe versus John Jones. Come on.
Oh, okay. So I did see Chael's thing, and all indications point that Stipe is good to go. That
really?
That's what
November.
I hear. That's what he's whenever. He's good. So that's what I hear. I haven't heard that straight from Stipe's mouth. But from Stipe's side of the road, sounds like his deal's done. He's signed. He's ready to go.
Oh, okay, right. So basically, from people from his circles that maybe have knowledge of the situation without naming names or anything like that, from what you hear of,
he's good. Yeah.
Everything's good to go on that side.
Mm-hmm. He's training.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like in camp.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah.
Good, because as a fan, that's what I want to see for sure.
Yeah. But
I mean,
there is some holdup though, because there's no fight announcement, there's no date, there's no venue like officially. You would think that the second they get that fight booked officially, that they would announce it, or at least on maybe a big event, or Dana does those big fight announcements. What I think is awesome. I love when he does that, when he'll just feed you 10 awesome matchups on a YouTube video. But it was, so I don't know what the holdup is, but there is one, it sounds like, but I don't know what it is.
It's going to be a good run, I think, towards the end of the year. Obviously, I think we're going to have Conor McGregor versus Chandler in December. From what you say, from what we all think, Stipe, John Jones in November. We got Fight Island. We got the BMF belt. We got a lot of shit going on. The question was, though, if, let's just say hypothetically, that fight wasn't going to happen. If John Jones was to defend the belt more times than Stipe, I think I'm paraphrasing, but almost there. If he defended the belt more times than Stipe, do you think that would make him the greatest heavyweight of all time without beating Stipe?
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument there for sure. I mean, if you defend it more times than anybody else, that would kind of by default put you there, because that's how Stipe got that. Correct. That, kind of got that title. So, yeah, you think even without beating him, you would have to say that.
No, and I totally agree. I mean, it's no hard. It's just an opinion thing.
But even the only way that wouldn't be the case is if he lost to Stipe. Like, say he defends it 4 times, but then loses to Stipe. Stipe still kind of wins that tiebreaker. But I think you would have to. think he would have to.
But by all accounts, our friend here that sent in the question, the tweet you're reading this morning, brother, is incorrect. Madison Square Garden, it's going down. It's going on. The heavyweight GOAT is coming back and he's defending against Johnny Bones Jones at the most iconic venue in the goddamn world. And yes, I will need open heart surgery if I continue getting this hyped up.
Yeah,
Brian,
down.
what is the next question?
All right. So the next question we have here is from Craig Connell.
Craig. Poor Craig.
What's happening, boys? It's Craig in a very surprisingly sunny Scotland right now. 2 questions today. First one, with the state of the judging and some of the decisions that are coming out these days, have you ever seen a fighter or heard of a fighter leaving the cage, pissed off and angry, trying to find the judge that called the fight against them? Or does the UFC have something in place that basically gets them out of the cage and gets them to fuck all the way back to the locker room? Or have you ever seen someone just scout out the judge that they know went against them and went up to go and question and say, like, what the fuck was this? The second question, if the UFC were to ever say, we're going to do a fan experience, is that something you guys would be up for doing? Like if they said there's going to be a young lad and his dad coming to the show and they want to see the behind the scenes, you take them through a day in the life of the commentary or the analyst work for Anthony. Was that something that you guys would be on board for if the UFC ever ran that idea past you? Yeah. Thanks for all the hard work, boys. Keep it up. Mike Harrington.
Cheers, mate.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that, buddy. So I don't think so. I don't think I have, had experience or heard of a fighter go and take it up with a judge. I mean, number one, I guess you could find out the name of the judges that judge your fight pretty quickly. Then you got to find them in an arena with 20,000 people. Maybe at the Apex, it's a little easier, but I think, you got to be professional. You got to be professional and you got to accept all eventualities. You know what I'm saying? One of the eventualities is that you can win. One is that you can lose. You can get knocked out. You can get submitted. You can get choked out. You can lose on points. You can win on points and also get fucked by the judges. Yeah. I don't think going out there and kicking off with the judges and, I understand the question and it is a good question, but I don't think I can think of an example. And I feel that that's just kind of, they always say, don't they? Dana's said it many times, don't let this go to the judges. You know what happens. And we all know that. We all run that risk. Of course, we all try and finish fights. But I don't think there's ever been an example where a fighter has taken it out on a judge personally and, berated them for their opinion.
No, not that I can ever remember. On the regional scene, I've seen guys like screaming at them from the inside of the cage because they don't actually always know which one's which and where they're at. But I've seen them bitching and complaining and screaming about how the judges suck, but never anything more than that.
I don't know why, but I just go on. Sorry.
Well, I was going to go on to his fan experience question.
But that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Fuck the fan experience. We're doing live Believe in Me podcast. We're going to tour. Right. We're going to do the Monday and the Thursday show. We're going to bang them out. We're going to do one a night. We're going to tour up and down England. We're going to come back. We're on the East Coast. We're going to work our way across the whole of America. We're going to be exhausted. Harrington will die in the process. We will strangle him. We will put him to sleep. We will put him out of his misery.
He can't ride with us though.
No.
Like from one place to the next, he can't ride with us.
Well, we're going to have Silk's executive travel. So that's how we're going to roll in the UK. Okay. We're going to do it. We're going to get this going. We're going to get this popping. Get your passports ready. Brian and Harrington, we're coming after the show. We're going to put a plan together. We're doing it.
Yeah.
It's long overdue.
I'm in. Oh, he's got it with him in his hand.
Because he just came back from Jamaica,
So we got a question here. It's a trivia question from Mr. Brian Harvey.
We got to do trivia again. That was fun.
That was.
Hey, boys. Love the show. Keep up the good work. I tune in for the shit talk and I stay for the MMA stories. I've got a game show type question for you. What historical combat sportsman also was blind in one eye and worked in a slaughterhouse like Bisping? Pause it there, Brian. I'll give you the answer in a minute.
I know it. I've got his book.
Really?
Yeah. What's his name? You don't know, obviously.
Fuck no.
Yeah, no, there was a boxer from like the 1918s. I've got his bloody book. He's a lightweight guy, worked at a slaughterhouse from New York, from that area. Yeah. Harry Greb.
No way. You remembered it.
Harry Greb. Just press a play button. Brian, let's see what we've got from Winston.
Joe Frazier. Bisping, you're an amazing company. Thanks a lot. And fuck you, Harrington.
What? No, listen. There was only one mixed martial arts to do it. And now he's bringing out multiples. Joe Frazier had one eye since when?
Really?
And not to me, but Harry Greb. Brian, bring up a little Google on Harry Greb.
Joe Frazier. First thing that popped up was blind in one eye.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Years after his retirement from the ring, Frazier revealed that he had competed for years with a cataract in one eye, making him effectively half blind.
Yeah, fucking cataract. Well, what's that weak ass bullshit? I had a detached retina. I was utterly and completely blind. Cataract. Can Joe Frazier pull this out? Oh, come on, baby.
Well, yeah, it was from a training accident. He developed a cataract, and I was reading my phone. I didn't see you popped your eyeball out.
Joe Frazier ain't got shit on that, bro. That ain't no cataract.
Party trick.
Oh God, no, Harry Greb. Just bring up a still of Harry Greb, the skinny little bastard. No. Harry Greb.
Hold on, I was pulling up his Wikipedia. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I have that up.
Harry Greb, 1894 to 1926. He had a crazy record. Hold on. Where's his record? 108 wins.
Jeez.
261 wins. 49
262 wins, 18 losses. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And apparently, halfway through his career, lost one eye as well. Wow. We got one more, Brad, before we all get out of here, before I pee my pants because I'm on the verge.
You know what? I was almost hoping you didn't ask for this one, but here it comes. This one's for This one is from son of a bitch.
Hello, my name son of a bitch. Mike. I saw on Instagram that you were chilling with Mike O'Hearn and Arnold Schwarzenegger. How was it? And Anthony Smith. Wait, Smith, do you know the movie where this quote is from? Hasta la vista, baby.
Wow.
What the fuck was that?
I'm convinced that's Roland Vixa.
You think that's Roland?
That could be Roland, but more importantly, that's our fan base.
Did Roland disappear? Have we not seen Roland in a while?
Roland Vixa has not been around for a while.
Really? That's got to be Roland.
It's a mentally handicapped person with a pig mask on.
Pig mask.
And as I say, that's our bloody fan base. That's who we're talking to. That's who's listening to us. Subscribe, ring the bell, please. We love you. Hasta la vista, baby. One movie.
The Terminator?
Yeah. Good job.
I got one.
When's the last? You got one? You did get one.
I got that one.
I'm proud of you. You did it after all this time. When's the last time? That's good. When's the last time you watched The Terminator?
Oh, God. I don't even know.
I'm trying to get Lucas to
20
watch
years
it.
ago.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And Terminator 2 is fantastic. All right, after that, there's a rather big drop off.
Yeah.
1 and 2, classics.
Oh,
Anyway, that's it. That's it. We're done with the show, guys and girls. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back on Thursday with Mackenzie Dern and one other guest that we're yet to organise, but we will do it. And we will do the One Chip Challenge Thursday.
Yes,
we're going down.
Get your tinfoil hats on, too.
Get your tip. We got Conspiracy Corner. We got Mackenzie Dern. We got the One Chip Challenge. We got a packed show.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
More shit to talk about
See you
than what
then.
we did today. Today was a waffler. Boys, girls, take care.